So the last 5 games as a starter, and I want you to real quick guess who this is. 17 points in a win versus Phoenix, 18 points in a win versus Portland, 10 points in a win versus Memphis, 16 points in a loss versus Sacramento, and 8 points in a win versus Portland. Take a second, let me know. Also hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It's Cam Reddish. And Cam Reddish, I fully believe, deserves the starting unit. I believe that he has earned his starting spot. Now, Taurean Prince and Cam Reddish are both in the starting unit right now, but Jarred Vanderbilt is eventually going to return, hopefully sometime this coming week. That would be great, especially like before that Dallas game. We could really use him for the Kyrie and Luka matchup. Having Cam Reddish, who has just been, dude, that guy. Let's take a second. Let's pause for a second and talk about Cam Reddish's defense. This guy is just everywhere. Everywhere. He is deflecting passes. He is stealing inbound plays. He is blocking shots. He is just being an absolute menace with his size and athleticism and his strength and wingspan. We're talking about a guy that's 6'8". He has a 7'1" wingspan. Like, he's been absolute clams. And that's been, more than anything, the real bright spot. Now, there is, of course, the concern of if Jarred Vanderbilt comes back, do we have enough shooting to justify starting Cam Reddish? But in all honesty, Taurean Prince has not been shooting the basketball well. I still like Taurean Prince a lot. I still do think he kind of comes around at some point. I do think that Taurean Prince figures it out shooting-wise, but also he just provides a lot besides the shooting. I mean, obviously you need him to shoot, but he is scoring the basketball and just not settling, getting to the rim. He is just making smart decisions. I mean, he had like several games in a row in which he made arguably the play of the game, right? That Phoenix game where he could have settled and instead of that, he drove to the basket. And then, the other game where he's chasing down the loose ball and everyone just stopped because they thought they were going out of bounds, and Taurean Prince tracks it down, gets the ball, and then goes the other way, and the game's over now, right? Like, those are the things that I think are very valuable, very important, and just the veteran presence that Taurean Prince provides. But that doesn't necessarily mean he has to start, right? If he does at some point get his three-point shooting around, then maybe you look to move him in, especially if Cam Reddish, let's say, like, regresses a little bit. But as of right now, the way as it stands, Taurean Prince is only shooting 30.6% from three-point range, right? Like, that's not good enough to justify, because at least with Cam Reddish, you're getting the size, the defense, the versatility. I mean, imagine a starting five of D'Angelo Russell, Cam Reddish, Jarred Vanderbilt, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis. That starting unit is massive. You have a ton of athleticism. We'll talk about Cam Reddish and Jarred Vanderbilt here shortly. But you look at Cam Reddish, and thus far, he's shooting 56% from three. Like, he's, to be exact, if you want the exact, it's 35.9% from three. So literally 0.1% shy of 36%. And he's shooting 43% from the field total and 50% from two-point range. He's also been taking better care of the basketball, right? He's like early on to start the season, and even in like the preseason, he really struggled dribbling and handling the basketball, right? You saw him, he would just lose the ball. He was out there looking like Jaylen Brown. But now he seemed to do a better job taking care of the basketball and just protecting the basketball when he's driving and he's getting to the hoop and using his size and length. Because that was one of the big things with Cam Reddish. It's like, dude, he's got the size, the length, the quickness, the just athleticism to really finish over the top and be able to draw contact or just finish through contact, all of those things. And he struggled a little bit, but he's really came around. And in the starting unit, he's been fantastic, right? He's averaging 8 points a game on the season for us. But again, we don't need him to average 30, right? We just need him, like, if he can give us 8 to 10 points a game, and have those occasional nights where he's giving you, 15 to 17, that's great. And then have Vando, same thing. If he could give us, say, 8 to 10 points and then have the occasional game where he goes and gives you 15 or whatever, then that's all we need, right? Because you'd have, especially if D'Lo can continue to score the basketball at the efficiency that he has been, I think it makes a world of sense to go with Vando and Cam Reddish. Also, we've been off to such slow, sluggish starts anyway, right? Like, I feel like just lean into it defensively, right? And hopefully D'Lo, LeBron, and AD, they can be enough to kind of get the pot stirred. And then Cam Reddish and Jarred Vanderbilt hopefully can knock down the three. And you could put both of them at each corner and just have them kind of just spend time in those corners. And then we have, LeBron and D'Lo and then AD kind of doing his thing. And they're kind of like running the bulk of the offense. And then defensively, you'd have Cam Reddish and Jarred Vanderbilt. And I mean, even if the Lakers were to trade for, let's say they trade for a DeMar DeRozan or a Zach LaVine, right? Like, I still think that you still go with Cam Reddish, Jarred Vanderbilt, because then you have like DeMar, LeBron, and AD to kind of go for that scoring, or LaVine, LeBron, and Anthony Davis to go for that scoring. I think you'd have enough offense early on to get going, and then you can always just adjust accordingly, right? Like, let's say like we're really struggling, it's bad. Okay, 3 minutes in, take out Reddish or take out Vando and get in, a Rui or a Prince or whomever to try to kind of get the offense up. But I do think that defensively, I think with Cam Reddish and what we've seen from him defensively and Jarred Vanderbilt, along with Anthony Davis, I think we'd be the best defensive team in the league. I think it would solve our defense out on the perimeter because Jarred Vanderbilt, he covers so much ground. And Cam Reddish has done the same thing. So you'd have two of those guys basically just patrolling and hounding all out on the perimeter, all in the interior. Like, they just, between those two and Anthony Davis, you could probably play 7-on-3. And those three guys would probably be able to slow the team down. Just because they are so athletic. They are so just relentless on the defensive side. I cannot wait, whether they start them or not, I cannot wait to see what a Cam Reddish, Jarred Vanderbilt unit looks like. I mean, seriously. I mean, to have Cam Reddish and Jarred Vanderbilt just patrol and just hounding everybody. I mean, it's like, it doesn't get any better than that, right? And we saw, like last year, we were middle of the pack defensively. We got Jarred Vanderbilt. As soon as we got Jarred Vanderbilt, we, boom, skyrocketed to number one defensively. Because again, he just covers so much ground. Like, Anthony Davis is the best defensive player in the league. And it's because he can basically control an entire court and just be that deterrent, block the shots, get the steals, do so much that it affects how teams run their offense. And when you add a guy like a Jarred Vanderbilt who comes in and he can be as disruptive and he covers so much ground. I mean, how many times have we seen Jarred Vanderbilt essentially teleport? Like, he'll be over here, and then all of a sudden he's on the other side of the court, and then all of a sudden he's back in the middle, and then all of a sudden he's back away. Like, it's crazy the amount of space and just ground he can cover and still recover even if he does get beat. He just makes such a difference. And then Cam Reddish has shown the ability to do a lot of the same things. It's just a recipe for elite defense and defending out on the perimeter. Also, just the athleticism that the Lakers would have now with Jarred Vanderbilt and Cam Reddish. Jarred Vanderbilt, again, he doesn't fix everything, but he fixes a lot for the Lakers. His energy, again, energy can be contagious. Energy can be infectious. You have Cam Reddish and Jarred Vanderbilt working their tail off on the defensive side and just getting after it relentlessly. You have no choice but to now pick up the effort, right? You have no choice but to play better. You saw in the last few games, right? Cam Reddish goes in, gets an early steal, impacts the game, gets an early and the first quarters have been better, right? All of a sudden we have a lead in the first quarter. All of a sudden we're playing better in the first quarters. Right? Not the Sacramento game, but no, the other two games, right? And you saw that energy. Now LeBron's getting after it. Now AD's getting after it. Now, it changes the scope of what this team can do. And at least, even if the offense is stagnant to get going, I believe you'd have good enough defense to really kind of control and contain the opposing team. Obviously, there's nights where guys just get ridiculously hot, and there's not going to be much you can do about it. But I do think Jarred Vanderbilt, Cam Reddish can kind of, offset a lot of the early offensive struggles. But if they can just be league average, like, again, Cam Reddish shooting 36%, that's perfect. If Jarred Vanderbilt can do the same thing, give me 35, 36%, that's perfect. We're not going to be an elite three-point shooting team. We're just not. Even if we went and traded for a Buddy Hield or something like that, we're not going to be an elite three-point shooting team. When we won the championship in the bubble, we weren't an elite three-point shooting team. We were one of the worst. We were like 26th, 27th in the league. But we won on just being the best defense, being creative on offense, guys stepping up in big moments, guys hitting timely shots, things like that. Cam Reddish has shown the ability to do that. Jarred Vanderbilt can come in and do the same thing. That's where we lean on. We lean on the athleticism of these guys. We lean on the defense of these guys. We lean on the energy of these guys. We become the best defensive team in the league right now. If I'm not mistaken, that's Minnesota, right? I believe we can surpass them, right? They have Anthony Edwards and Jaden McDaniels, who are just, again, two guys that have been absolutely relentless on the defensive side. I think we could replicate that with Cam Reddish and Jarred Vanderbilt. I don't mean talent-wise. I don't want people being like, Cam Reddish isn't Anthony Edwards. I know that. I'm not saying that. I'm talking about on the defensive side, right? So on the defensive side, these two, you got to at least try it, right? It's going to take Vando a little while to get his legs under him, right? So even if he does return, don't expect him to just be like he was last season immediately. It might take him 2 or 3 games to kind of just get the timing down, get his NBA legs down under him, all that stuff. You can't replicate that. You could run scrimmages, you could practice, you could do whatever. You're never going to replicate an actual NBA game. So it might take Vando a little time. But once he gets going, I really want to see what this looks like. And I think Cam Reddish has just done too much for this Laker team this season to all of a sudden now move him to the bench over a Taurean Prince who has struggled, right? Even if Taurean Prince does start turning it around, I just think you still keep Cam Reddish and instill that confidence, right? Like, he missed a game-winning shot, and since then has just gotten better and has shot the ball better. Usually what happens to young guys is they miss that shot, and all the fans and everybody's just coming for their helmets, and it's just this mess. Usually what happens is that player just falls off a cliff and becomes completely unplayable at times, or they continue to struggle because now they're on their own mental. No, the team rallied around him. LeBron rallied around him. Darvin Ham rallied around him. Everyone stuck up for him, and said, no, you are this guy. You're going to hit the next one. Don't worry about it. Everyone misses it. I've missed it. Don't worry. It happens. You're going to hit the next one. And he's been flamethrower since. He's been excellent since. And I don't want to move him to the bench and end up messing with his confidence now. It's like, well, I thought you guys believed in me. You guys started me. And now Vando's here like, yeah, like Taurean Prince is struggling. Like, why am I doing what I needed to do? And I would rather keep him in the starting unit. Where Taurean Prince is a vet. He's came off the bench for a large majority of his career. Like, he understands and he's going to play whatever role is needed to him. Keep the confidence in the young man. Keep the confidence in him and let him continue to thrive. And I wouldn't be shocked if he actually gets better when Jarred Vanderbilt comes back, because that's going to take so much pressure off of him, at least on the defensive side. So now he doesn't have to guard the best player. He can guard the second best player, right? So now it just puts you in a better position. He's going to be more impactful, more effective. And then if he's making those big plays that we've seen him make, that's just going to raise his confidence level even higher. He's going to continue to hit shots. And now it just becomes a snowball effect, right? The one thing the Lakers lack is energy, right? And effort. You're not going to have to worry about that if you have Cam Reddish and Jarred Vanderbilt in the starting unit. Both of those guys are going to bring the energy and the effort. The concern is the offensive side. But we haven't been great in the first quarters offensively anyway. So be the best defensive team in the first quarter and then pick it up throughout the course of the game. Just a thought. But as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? Do you agree with me? Do disagree with me. Have a feel whatever your thoughts are. I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below.